Hey guys, DTO60. Wait a minute, I already switched to my name. Right. Let's scratch that, start over again. Hey guys, DT Figures here, back with another figure review after a pretty long time. So it's good to be back. Anyway, for this figure review, we are going to look at S.H.Figuarts Super Saiyan Gohan, the fighter who surpassed Goku. The ridiculous naming conventions aside, this was one of my most anticipated releases for 2024. So, did he deliver on the hype? I suppose you're gonna have to watch the rest of the review to see my thoughts on it. He is pretty solid all around. I think Tamashii did a lot of things right, but there are a couple of nitpicks as well, which I will get into in this review. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. So going over the aesthetics, I think that Tamashii did a really good job with Gohan. He looks just as he should from the anime or the manga, whichever media you're looking at, during the Cell Saga, so I'm really satisfied with how he looks aesthetically. His sculpt work is great, his paint work is mostly flat, but to be honest, I don't really care about that. I think that's easily rectified with lighting during your photo shoots, so that's not an issue for me. His hair color is a really nice light shade of yellow, which is supposed to represent his full power Super Saiyan state, which he achieved with Goku in the hyperbolic time chamber, so this color perfectly represents that. I have no issues whatsoever with it. As for his faces, I will elaborate more during the accessory section, but I just want to quickly say that the face printing on all of the faces have been absolutely fantastic. I have no qualms whatsoever with them. They all look absolutely amazing. I do have qualms about what faces should have been printed, but I'll get into that later. So apart from that, his gi system is actually the same gi system as both Gohan Beast and Orange Piccolo. So it's basically a rubber overlay on top of the body, but they did engineer it slightly differently this time, which I will get into during the articulation section. As for his height, I do think he looks pretty height accurate to his look from the Cell Saga. I decided to put a video montage of him standing back to back with different versions of himself from Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super. I unfortunately do not have every version of Gohan in figure form, but I hope this will suffice. So let's quickly go through Gohan's articulation. Starting with his head, he can hit all the necessary movements you need in the head articulation, so I have no qualms here whatsoever. Even lean forward, lean back, side to side. His look up, unfortunately, is a bit weak because of the way the back of his hair is designed, but he still looks up, I think, far enough for the most part. Still, wish there was a bit more range there. Anyway, moving on to his arms. So his arms can go past 90, very good. Elbow bend, also past 90 thanks to the double elbow joint, so that's very good. Wrist rotation and up and down, no issues whatsoever. As for his arm forward, he can hit it, no issue, unlike Gohan Beast. I bring up Gohan Beast because this gi system was again introduced on Gohan Beast. It's just that instead of having the sleeves be connected to the gi this time, they decided to make it a separate piece, so it did turn out better, and there is no articulation being hindered, so that's good. Now moving on to his body articulation, side to side, no issue. You can even do a full rotation if you want to. Lean forward is pretty good, no issues there. And he's leaning back. It's a bit, let's just see that again. It's a bit weak. He's barely leaning back, honestly. And it also kind of opens up a gap there, which is not really nice to see. So that's pretty unfortunate. I kind of wish that this rubber piece was a bit longer just to hide that gap, but yeah, it is what it is. And now moving on to his lower half. So again, since the rotation is on the same peg, there's no issues there. As for his leg articulation, he can kick up pretty far enough, and he can kick back. Oh well, actually for kicking back you kind of have to wiggle your way around it. So this is a softer rubber material now, so you can kind of like maneuver his leg to kick back, just like that. There you go. And side to sides is also good. He can do the full splits, so definitely no qualms about that at all. Thing is though, I really do not like this extended thigh cut here. I don't get it. Why can't they just like cut it here? I mean, look at this. It's so look at that. It's clashing with the rubber piece. It's certainly better than before with Trunks, who first introduced this, where his thigh cut was clashing with the plastic hip joint, whereas this is just clashing on a rubber hip joint. Rubber is definitely better to clash against compared to clashing against another plastic, but still it's very annoying to deal with. It's a very personal nitpick. I'm sure if you can find a way around it, you're not going to be as bothered as I am, but personally I really don't like this design. But anyway, his knee joint, pretty good, no issues. His thigh cut can rotate a little bit, so that's good. As for his foot, he can tilt forward, but it's not that much because of the way this is designed. The foot design kind of hinders tilting it forward a little bit, but tilting back. This is tilting forward. Tilting back had some issues, but tilting forward is not as bad. And his side to sides are pretty good, so I'm very satisfied with that. And of course he does have a toe hinge as well, very useful. And as you saw earlier, a full rotation as well. And most importantly, with those ankle rockers, he can balance while standing without issue. Let me just bring this down. There you go. Kind of have to, of course, play around with it a bit more, but yeah, no issue whatsoever. Very happy with it.
Moving on to accessories. Starting with his facial expressions, we have 5 in total, starting with his neutral face, an alternate neutral face with wider eyes, a tiff-gritted face, a shocked face, and a shouting face. I have some personal nitpicks with 2 of these faceplates, starting with the alternate neutral face. This clearly should have been a smiling face. It's either that, or they make this the default neutral face and include another faceplate with a similar eye design, but with a smiling expression. I keep going back to the smiling expression because I feel like that should have been included in this release. It would have matched full power Super Saiyan Goku so damn well, man. Oh, such a missed opportunity. Anyway, the other faceplate I have a minor nitpick with is actually the shocked faceplate. This might be shocking, I know, but to me this faceplate just stands out a lot because of its damage and scuff marks.
Nothing particularly wrong with that. I think aesthetically it looks absolutely fantastic. But among these 5 faceplates, it just feels like the odd one out. Again, very minor nitpick. I guess I kind of wish it was another clean looking faceplate, but I can't really complain either. The face looks good. So as for hands, he comes with a pair of fists, a pair of expressive hands, a pair of Kamehameha hands, a pair of splayed out hands, a pair of Masenko or karate chop hands, and of course his windswept hair sculpt. I kinda wish they included one that swayed the other direction, but I get that would have increased the cost too much, so it's understandable that they only included one. Still, kinda wish that I was able to use it in any other direction. But that's just my minor nitpick, so. And last, but certainly not least, is the cape accessory, which I do want to spend some time talking about. So, firstly, to put it on, you just have to remove the head. Oh, there goes the peg. Have the cape sit on the shoulders and just put it back on. It's actually easier if the peg goes along with the head, because I can now put it back on nicely on camera. So that's nice. Anyway, this is how he looks like with the cape on, and he does look very good. My minor nitpick though is that I wish it was just a little bit larger, but that's just me. I think for what it is, it already does everything you need it to do fairly well. So since there is a bendy wire in the cloth cape, you can get it to move in any direction you want it to. So definitely very pleased with that, as it adds a lot more flavor for dynamic posing. Certainly better than the previous iterations of this cape, looking at Proud Namekian Piccolo's version, or the worst one, which was Gohan Superheroes, which I believe came from Gamma number 2. It's over here actually. So as you can see, it's literally just one hinge, and the hinge doesn't even work properly. It keeps falling off on its own. So this thing really sucks. But this is really good. So I'm very happy with that. But of course, there are a couple of limitations now with the cape being on. First one is the head articulation. It is a little bit more limited now, given the small gap here. So it's not that you can't turn his head, it's just gonna be a little bit more difficult to do so. Let me just get it to focus. Yep. Apart from that, his arms can't go as high up as it can without the cape, thanks to the pauldron here, but that's to be expected. It's the same when you're trying to lift it from the side, so it's not the worst thing in the world. It's unfortunate, but it is expected given the cape's design. So, for my final thoughts, I do think that Super Saiyan Gohan is undoubtedly a fantastic release by Tamashii Nations. I think my biggest issue with the release is probably just that gap that occurs when you're trying to bend him either forward or back. But apart from that, most of what I've discussed were really just personal nitpicks. Sure, I do think he should have come with a smiling faceplate, but not necessarily everyone feels the same way. So yeah, I think he's really just a fantastic release all around. So that is all for this review, and I will see you all in the next one. Chala, hit chala, do 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 do.